Well, happy Bulletproof Monday, everyone. It's Susan here, and I hope you are having an amazing day. Bulletproof Monday is designed to help you grow in your life, grow in your business, and our mantra is really around creating your own freedom and believing in fiscal responsibility and not being afraid of the hustle. So today, the topic is going to be about being on the right path. And have you ever been going down a certain road and in your life, in your business, and suddenly things start to feel really hard? Has that ever happened to you? Just say yes or give me a heart or a thumbs up if that's you. And then suddenly you're like, questioning it. Maybe you become a little frustrated, a little disappointed, and you're like, oh my gosh, is this the path I'm actually supposed to be going down? So here's the good news. There are always signs when we're going down the right path, and conversely, there are signs when we're going down the wrong path. So I want to acknowledge you for being here. I see Gina and Ivy and Kim and Shelly Jean. Hey, Bruce, it's great to see you. Hey, Tanya, I'm so happy you're here. And one of the things I promise is that you will leave here with some clarity and certainty, because there have been times in my own life when I'm going a certain direction and it just wasn't where I was supposed to be. And so that's what we're going to talk about. So I want to begin with, I'm going to share with you 5 ways we know we're on the right path. And I also want to share with you just some stories around that. And I'm sure you all have stories too. Hey, Pamela, I love Scotland. It's great to see you here. Hey, Kayla, it's great to see you. And beautiful Marcia, great to see you here too. So you know how, whether it's your business or your life, and you're like, oh my gosh, there's something I really want to do, and you have a very specific goal, and you're like, yes, this is going to be absolutely amazing. And you go and you start down that path, and initially it's pretty easy and things begin to happen. And then suddenly you run into some roadblocks. Has that ever happened to anyone? I'm sure it has, right? And it doesn't mean that's not the goal we're supposed to go for. It just might mean that the way we're going about that goal is not right. Does that make sense? And so, one of the first stories that really comes to mind was when I was in grade school. I was the fattest kid in my class. So we had a big hill in the middle of our back field at Commonwealth Public School in Brockville, Ontario. And one of the things that we used to do during cross-country season is we'd have to run loops around the field, and then we'd run up and down this hill, which was essentially a mound of dirt in the middle of the field. And I remember one day in the fall, I was wearing velour track pants and I think a velour top. I was head to toe in velour, and it was the 70s, keep in mind. And I had the rolls of fat. I was a women's size 14 when I was in grade 5. And there I am running up this hill in dead last, and the kids were at the top of the hill and they were laughing at me, and they used to call me Bubba Sue. That was my nickname. It was awful. It was humiliating, and it was just so hard for me. Now, it didn't mean I wasn't supposed to run. It didn't mean I wasn't supposed to be an athlete, but the way I was going for that goal just wasn't right. So that summer, I decided that I wanted to be a runner, and I was 11 years old, and in July, I would get up at 5 in the morning and go running when no one could see me. And I had a goal to make it just to our art center and back, so it was about a mile round trip. So every day I'd get up and I'd go for the run, and I'd come back, and eventually I kept on running, just like Forrest Gump. And you see, here was the whole thing. And I began to lose weight and clean up my diet. Here was the thing. I was trying to become a runner, and I wasn't going about it the right way. So it became really, really hard. And the reason I share that story, in your business, if you start a business or you have a goal and maybe you're not bringing on the new clients you want to, or maybe people aren't, embracing your product or service, or maybe you're trying to learn something and it's getting frustrated, what average people do is they quit. Average people wouldn't have gotten up at 5 in the morning to figure out a way to become a runner. They would have given up. But you guys aren't average. You're here for Bulletproof Monday. That means you're exceptional. And what exceptional people do is they figure out a way, they're willing to test a multitude of ways, and then when all of the signs and everything else align, they pursue that path. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. So I want to share with you very quickly 5 ways we know we're on the right path. And hey, Hadass, hey, Tracy, it's great to see you. Hey, Vipul, it's great to see you too. So the first one is that we're gonna run into someone unexpectedly who's gonna affirm that we're on the right path. And so I was in Las Vegas over the weekend for Eric Worre's birthday party, and there was a friend of mine I really, really wanted to see. She's super smart in technology. She's also an investor in Radius AI, my AI company that I'm one of the co-founders at, and I really wanted to see her. Now, there were hundreds of people coming to this party, and I'm staying at this hotel, and I go to check in my room, and who is booked in the room right across from me? In this massive hotel, that person I wanted to see. And so I wanted to have a conversation with her and get some advice from her. And isn't that amazing that she was put right in my path? So when you have a goal, when you have a path, a purpose, something you want to achieve, the right person, this is sign number 1, the right person is going to be put on your path to affirm that you're on the right path. Does that make sense? So they're either going to say something, they're going to show up, they're going to, validate your decision. That's that right person. And how do we know it's the right person? This person has no agenda. Okay? The wrong people show up and they give you advice because they have an agenda. They don't necessarily want the best for you, but they want the best for them. Okay, so the right people show up, and it could even be you're literally flicking channels or you're Netflixing or you're doing whatever you're doing, you're scrolling social media, and someone, a speaker, an influencer says something and they use a word or they talk about a story that means something just to you. Look for those affirmations. Now, many of you know I'm Christian. I was actually raised in a Buddhist, Jewish, Christian household, okay? And I am part Jewish. And so I'm going to say, I usually say the word God on Bulletproof Monday. So God puts those people in our path. God will put them there, and it will be in such a way that there is no other way that you can explain it. The second thing is our energy begins to go up. When we're on the right path, we are energized. We wake up in the morning, we're thinking about our goals. We go to sleep at night, we're thinking about our goals. When normally in the past, we would have been so tired and lethargic, we are fired up. Whether we're building funnels, it's like, oh my gosh, I could do that all day long. Or we're designing a new business idea. Or I was doing a course at MIT, to give an example, and Sundays I'd be like writing essays, watching videos, answering questions, doing all this stuff, and I had so much energy for it because I was on the right path. So one of the signs is you're going to be super energized when you're doing it. You're not going to be tired. It's not going to be exhausting for you. You are going to be fired up. The third thing is when we're on the right path, something we're intending is going to happen. Just a little sign that's like, hey, Shelly Jean, you're on the right path, or hey, Revo, you're on the right path. And it just could be a little sign that says, you know what? Yeah, you're going in the right direction. So I always take notes for you guys on Monday. So something we're intending will come true. So I'll tell you a quick story. So at Eric Worre's birthday, someone who's massive in the digital marketing space, and I actually sit on the board, the partner board for this company, digital marketer is Perry Belcher. So I'm literally talking to Eric, and I'm telling him about Radius, and he's like, you need to talk to Perry. And I said, Perry who? And he said, Perry Belcher. Do you know who that is? And I said, yeah, I know who Perry is. And he goes, he's right over there. And he happened to be talking to Harvey Mackay. Harvey Mackay he's written 7 New York Times bestsellers. He is my mentor. He, is, a multimillionaire many times over. And there was Perry. And so I had been thinking of this idea for over a year for my digital agency, Agency 8. It's a very specific vertical. I'm not even going to tell you guys what it is. It's kind of obscure, and it's in the professional genre. And so I end up going to talk to Perry, and he said, I'm actually looking at that exact same vertical. Huh? Like, how crazy is that? So my intention to have a conversation with Perry Belcher comes true. We're looking at the exact same vertical, but doing two different things in the exact same vertical. And again, that is one of those signs that we're on the right path. Does that make sense? So when you're thinking about it and you're very clear, you're very intentional, the right people are showing up, you're super high in energy, you get a little hint that you're on the right path because something you wanted to intend actually comes true. And then the next thing is that doors that are supposed to be open are just going to open for you. It's crazy. So in building my direct sales business, the year was 2009 and it was the recession, and people were losing their houses. My business was growing and we were supposed to move to a whole new country. And our car was packed up. We had sold our house, and we get a call from our attorney, and he's like, I don't think I'd go if I were you. It's not the right time. So suddenly, it was really funny, but not funny. We were homeless millionaires. I was 8 months pregnant. We moved into my in-laws' house, and we're going, where is it we're supposed to live? So we needed a house that was empty, a house that could be a house for 6 of us, and we're like, where are we going to live? So we're looking. Ends up, there's a house that we can buy right away. It's the perfect size house for us. It's got everything we need. And we go to buy this house, and it's literally 100 yards from one of my friends I went to high school with who had just signed up in my direct sales business. So we lived that close, like literally I could throw a stone to her house. We lived that close together. We started to grow her business, blow up her business. And that was all divine destiny. There is no way that could have happened. And so during the peak of the recession, the business is growing. I'm helping her succeed. Eventually, she was able to retire from her job early in her 30s and come home and stay at home with her kids and do all that good stuff. But again, that was that sign that I was on the right path, because there were doors that were physically shut so others could open, and that I could be a service and I could be a blessing. The last thing I want to share is, how do we know when we're on the wrong path? So some of you are tired. You're building a business and you're like, I don't think I should be building this anymore. It doesn't mean you shouldn't be building the business. In fact, anyone who's successful, who makes millions of dollars, they stay in the same business for over a decade, right? At least. It doesn't mean that's the case. It just might mean, as I said, you're going about it in the wrong way. So here are some signs that you're on the wrong path, is that no matter what you're trying, it's just not working in the same way. Okay. So, it also could be like, I'll give you an example. I heard this story not that long ago. There was a person who was in a real estate deal and something quite didn't feel right. And you're on the wrong path if it just doesn't feel right. And in this person's gut, they were like, this just doesn't feel right. And they invested $1 million in this deal. They were accidentally sent an email by another one of the investors who was using that person's money to invest in another deal without them. Okay. And the way they found out they were on the wrong path, first it was the gut, and they got the confirmation with the email. If you are on the wrong path, there will be a physical confirmation. It's not just gossip. It's not just hearsay. You will find out. You'll accidentally be sent a text you weren't supposed to see, a DM that you weren't supposed to see. I had this person that I was developing as a leader. And, I had invested probably $18,000 in this person, travel, events, all these things. And I was growing this person up as this next generation of leader. And it was interesting because something wasn't quite right, and something changed. The person's tone was different. They weren't getting back to me as fast. They weren't showing up in different trainings and stuff like that. And sure enough, someone sent me a DM that person had sent to someone else saying they were going to join another company behind my back. So yeah, Susan, I'll take your $18,000. And by the way, I'm going to join another company. So here's the thing that happens when we're on the wrong path or we're working with the wrong people. There will always be a way. There will always be a way. You will find out. And that is the God's honest truth. And so I want to say to you that you can truly be, do, and have everything you dream. You can create the business or businesses of your dreams. You can become the woman or the man that you want to be. You can live this outrageous, incredible, absolutely brilliant life. Just because it's feeling hard doesn't mean it's the wrong path. It just means that you're probably not doing it right. You pivot your course and all these things begin to happen. The right people show up. The right circumstances happen. You get those confirmations. And I just came through a weekend, and I'm going to finish with this, that there was a business deal that I was really, really wanting to come to fruition. And so I knew it was the right path because guess what? We go and enter the business deal, and we're talking, the chief decision maker. I find out he's from Canada, I'm from Canada. We grew up 45 minutes apart. His college roommate is one of my friends. And just as things got going and everything began to unfold, there was sign after sign after sign that it was the right path. I prayed on it. I meditated on it. It was the right path. And I wouldn't be me if I didn't throw this in just to close with this, that if you're in a place right now where you're a little uncertain if something is the right path or not, just go into prayer. Go into prayer, go into meditation. I love this. Praying is when we talk to God, and meditation is when we listen. Go into prayer, give it up to God and say, listen, God, I need a confirmation that I'm on the right path. I need a confirmation that this is something I'm supposed to be doing. And I can promise you, if it is, you are going to have it. You're going to have that confirmation, whatever that looks like for you. And I'll finish very quickly. Thanks, Reva. I want to finish with a quick story that I heard that was so awesome. So there was a teenager, and he was doing some drugs, and he didn't want his mom to know. So he and his friend, they smoked some pot, and they came back and they had the munchies, and they're sitting in his room, and he's like, his friend's like, I'm hungry. And the guy is like, you can't go out there because my mom will know. And they're getting hungrier and hungrier and hungrier. And so finally his friend goes out and he opens the fridge, and the mom pokes around and she's like, hi. And he goes, ah, like this, right? And the guy shuts the fridge and goes running back to his friend's bedroom. He's like, your mom knows. She knows. She knows. Anyway, so the guy finally, they're sitting there, the night's going on, they're hungrier and hungry. So finally he tiptoes out, gets some stuff from the fridge, makes sandwiches, has some milk, and literally 3 minutes later, he's vomiting out the window. The next day, he goes to football practice and goes to see his mom at lunch, says, hey, can I have some lunch money? The mom's like, here you go. And by the way, I want to talk to you tonight. So he's like, uh-oh. So he goes to talk to his mom, and she said, I know you were doing drugs. And he's like, how do you know that? And she said, because I suspected you were doing drugs, and I got on my knees and I prayed to God that if you were doing drugs, that you would literally vomit out the window. And I heard you vomiting out the window, and I saw the sign of it this morning, and I knew you had betrayed me and you were doing drugs. So here's the thing I want to close with, and and I just love you all so much. Thank you for being here every single Monday, because it's my goal on these Mondays to pour into you and add value to your life. Is that, chances are often, okay, we're on the right path, whether it's saving our marriage, or it's, working out, or being in a business, or whatever the case is. But again, sometimes it's not the what, it's the how. And I would just say, give that how up to God, because there are always other ways, better ways, smarter ways for you to achieve your goals. But it doesn't necessarily mean there's anything wrong with your vehicle. It might mean that you need to rotate your tires or change the oil, so to speak. So with that, God bless all of you. If you have a topic, go to susansly.com and, put your topic in on my chat bot, because I'd love to hear if you have a topic. If you have a question, I would love to be in a place where I can serve you on Mondays and answer your questions. Anything about business, about marketing, about entrepreneurship, about the mindset of staying in the game. Oh my gosh. If you have a question, please go to susansly.com. just a question for Susan, and I'm happy to bring those in to our Bulletproof Mondays. And will I be here next Monday? It's Memorial Day here in the US. I will. We have a very international following: Australia, Scotland, all over, England, UK, obviously I mentioned, into Africa, all over the world. This Bulletproof Monday message goes. So, I will be here on Monday. And so with that, again, God bless. It's great for all of you to be here. I do read all of your comments. So again, thanks for being here. If this has been amazing, please go ahead and share it. And I will see you next Monday. Bye, everyone.